Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven, episode 2 this week. Because when it's Masters Week, one episode is never enough. So we're back, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, on the Fairway to Heaven and DSM media accounts. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like button, follow button, retweet button. And, let's just have some fun tonight. We're going to talk ownership percentage. What's up, Adam? I hope you tune in, get some good information, and play some good bets tonight. If you want to get your questions asked, like Adam on Facebook or these examples from YouTube, they're the two best places to get your questions answered. I can't see your questions on Twitter. They got to be on the Facebook and YouTube page. Cam Smith, Masters champion, has a nice ring. We're going to get into that in a minute because that's actually something that I'm really curious to get your opinion on, Chris. And so, again, I'm Phil Stifel, your host, joined again this week by Chis Euksuzian at Chris Ebom. Someday I will get your name right, Chris.
It's all good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I got my green jacket on, as I do for Masters Week. I've upped it from beer to wine. Yeah, I got to refine it for Masters Week a little bit.
You're a little fancy for me over here. If it looks like you've been to the Decky dinner over here, get all fancy with your wine and sushi and ready to roll.
As I'm a grown man now, I'm not a young child anymore. That menu that Hideki had, look, I don't know if you're a sushi guy.
Oh, I'm a huge sushi guy.
Dude, I would have torn that menu apart. Absolutely would have loved that.
Oh, man, that menu was on fire. I would have absolutely loved that. I probably would have had that menu if I would have won the Masters, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny when you see people win the Masters. Like, if you ever remember looking at Tiger's first Masters win, what his menu was the next year compared to then, as he got older. Tiger's first menu after he first won, he was, 21, 22 years old? I forget how old he was.
He was young. He was super young.
It was fried chicken and hot dogs and mac and cheese and stuff like that. And then the next time it's this high-end, dry-aged beef and stuff like that. As you get older, you refine your palates just a little bit there.
Hey, we all age like a fine wine. That's what we do here. Oh, what's up, Adam?
Adam's checking in. Adam's a great follower.
Absolutely, man. He's the best. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it, and I want to start. I put a test, little sample thing up here. Cam Smith, Masters champion. It has a nice ring to it. I know Cole wants us to get into Tiger talk here, and we are going to talk Tiger in a minute.
Sure, absolutely.
We're talking two things tonight. Last night, again, shout out to Ricky Whittier. He was a great guest last night for me on the when we broke down the DraftKings board. But one thing we had to wait till tonight on is really to figure out the ownership percentages of some of these guys. So tonight, we're focusing on ownership percentages and Chris's specialty, which is gambling and the betting on it. Make sure you check out his website, risingfirebets.com. Is it risingfirebets.com?
Yeah, risingfirebets.com. Yep.
Yeah, excellent work. He does great articles. This guy is fantastic with his betting knowledge and his betting breakdown. But I want to talk Cam Smith first.
Sure.
First off, I got a great futures bet back in January on Cam Smith, 29-1. So I'm all in on Cam Smith because I want that. That's my first futures bet that I've ever made that I think I have a real legit chance at cashing. So I want to talk about Cam Smith because two things. One, his odds are slowly creeping up to the top of the leaderboard. But also, everybody was projecting him to be one of, if not the highest owned guys. And early in the week, I use fantasynational.com. They're a partner with the show here, fantasynational.com. He was projected at like 19, 20% ownership early in the week. And normally, as the week goes on, those numbers go up. Cam Smith's number and projected ownership has slowly come down. He is now on Fantasy National. He was at 20 at one point. He's at 15.2%. And another friend of the show, Hunter, Jason, my former partner on the show, we've all been talking on Twitter tonight that maybe the excessive amount of talk on Cam Smith is scaring people away. And maybe people don't have to be quite as scared of playing Cam Smith, who is an excellent fit as somebody I think can definitely win a Masters tournament. Maybe Cam Smith is a smart bet and a smart play this week.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with the guy. I mean, he coming off the Players' Championship. He won the Century Tournament of Champions. I mean, he's a guy that plays best when he's in against the best fields. And this is that kind of event. And the beauty of this event, I feel like is the most important is the around the green game. And Cam Smith's one of the best at that. He's awesome around the green. He's a great putter. I mean, these GIRs to get at Augusta are extremely difficult because these bent grass greens, they're super fast. And these guys really haven't seen bent grass greens since like the CJ Cup. So it's been a really long time. And I've heard things from, I believe John Rahm was talking about it. Patrick Cantlay was talking about. The greens, you have to kind of refresh yourself. It seems like it's never the same. I mean, there is experience that comes with it, but they always feel like you have to get a refresher, especially, get those practice rounds and everything. But I think Cam Smith's a great play. I'm personally looking at my own projections right here. They say he's at 24%, but it's so hard to gauge where these guys are at because sometimes they might be really high, but when push comes to shove and it's Thursday, you're like, oh my gosh, he's 15. Like, I should have played him.
Yeah, I feel like every website where you get your projections at, I always feel like Fantasy National, their model making tools, fantastic. I haven't found a better model making tool than Fantasy National. Their ownership percentages are off by about 4 or 5%. I've learned, but if he was originally projected at 20, he was probably originally projected at 25. Them saying he's down to 15 might come in at 20. I don't know if you saw it, and you know what? I'm not prepared for this. Let me bring this up on another screen here. I was looking at. I found this guy. I never followed him before. Somebody else must have retweeted it, and I found it. DKDFS Strength on Twitter.
Okay.
I don't know who he is. Never followed him, but I brought his information up last night, and what he did was he brought up the Millie Maker because everybody wants to win the Millie Maker. That's obviously
sure.
That's the good. You want that one chance in a million to do it. And I'm going to bring this up on the screen here real quick. This is the ownership percentage this is the winning lineup last year in the Millie Maker. And you look at this ownership percentage here. Okay, he had Paul Casey at 26%, Corey Connors at 21%, Jordan Spieth at 32%. Mm-hmm. He had 3 of the highest owned guys, and he still was able to win the Millie Maker. So in an event like this, sometimes, ownership percentages are a little different when you have a 91-person field. Let's ballpark it. 75 of them really only have a shot at making the cut because it
might even be less, honestly.
Honestly, you eliminate the amateurs, you eliminate the old timers that are just playing to be here. You eliminate some of those guys. Realistically, you could pretend this is a 75-person field, and maybe only 60 of them have a chance. It's top 50 in ties, so 55 to 60 people are going to make the cut. So ownership percentages are automatically going to be higher on certain guys. So where you might cut off at somebody at 20%, you could stretch that to 25 and feel comfortable playing them this week. And this right here, and if you look at it, I got this guy, he brought up the last 3 2 years ago. The DJ November Masters.
Yeah, it's one of his own guys that could actually won it.
He had DJ. DJ was owned 32%. And he had him in his lineup. So, a couple years ago, you got 19, 16. You got high-owned guys every single year winning the Millie Maker with high-owned percentage guys. So I think it's a really, really interesting little thing there. And, something to really, when you're looking at those ownership percentages this week, don't get scared of a guy just because he might be 20 or 25%.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said anything better. This is a weird kind of tournament because the field is a little bit smaller. If you really like a guy to win, like you like a JT, like I like JT, he's going to be close to 30% owned. I'm still going to play him in lineups. I'm not scaring away from there. If you like I'm gonna put it this way, like it was perfectly said by you, but if you like 2 guys or 3 guys to really contend, really 2, I feel like for the most part, no matter what the percentage is, just play them because they're gonna score regardless for the most part. And then you got to find your hedge points with like your last 2 to 3 spots because that will really do it for you at the end of the day because those small guys will get you those points that most people won't, but you will need those guys, the big names, to score well. And it doesn't matter after 30%. You looked at DJ that year, he absolutely crushed it, almost 32%, unheard of, but you had to play him. So don't be afraid to play the guys you feel like are going to win regardless. So love what you came up with there.
Find, a couple low-owned guys to mix in with those.
A couple is good.
And we're going to get into them later when we get to it. But you bring up Justin Thomas. You say he's one of your favorite. Is he your favorite play this week or your favorite bet this week?
So I talked about this on Twitter before. I'm actually taking a riskier approach with JT this week. I did some research on him falling first round play. He's not the best first round guy at Augusta and just in general. So I'm going to be watching him like a hawk and watching the leaderboard. If somebody's real hot early and he hasn't teed off yet, I'm not sure what his tee time is off the top of my head, but I'm going to be watching him because if he slips a little bit and I can get him at 20-1, I'm going to jump on it. I
think that's actually a really great, smart play right there. So I love, like, obviously I said it before, Cam Smith's my guy I'm all in on because I got that futures bet. But if I didn't have that futures bet, the number one guy, if you just said take the odds out of the equation, take the ownership and the DraftKings prices, just take golfers and who you think's going to win this event, JT is my pick to win this event. And it's interesting you say that about JT not having good first rounds because I've heard that also about Rory McIlroy. So Rory McIlroy, I have a bet on him, but when I do my showdown lineups, after rounds 2, 3, and 4, a guy like Rory, well, now JT also, if your information's correct, they're going to be guys that I'm zoning in on Saturday and on Sunday, to play a lot of. Justin Thomas is at 10:45. He's teeing off with
okay, so he's gonna be in a little bit harder of a so-called wave with the wind, as they're saying right now. They're saying the wind's gonna be a little bit harder in the morning than in the afternoon. So you might be able to get a really good line with him if he's like +2. I just don't think a lot of guys are going to score real high here at Augusta. I mean, yeah, they took trees off some of the holes and just things of that nature. And I know the rough isn't that crazy, so it's like, but you saw Bryson last year. He was hitting him in like deep in the woods and everything. So, I mean, he's kind of exception. I'm totally fading him this week for the most part because I'm not sold on him with the approach game as well. I thought last year was a year where I was like, you know what? He's made the crush this course. The course is really long. This fits him perfectly. The rough's not that bad. I'm like, this is a Bryson course, and he's great around chipping around the green, and he's good putter and all these other things. And he tried to bring Augusta, and Augusta broke him. And I'm not sure if he has the right formula for that, because if he's going to club down, which I don't think he's going to really do a whole lot, then it's going to be trouble.
See, now I have the complete opposite feeling on you. On that. So first off, I want to finish up with JT there. Sure. I agree with everything you said, and the only reason why I haven't already a bet on him is because DraftKings was offering a +300 on any golfer. So I got JT already at 17-1.
Because wow, nice.
That 14.
You have to take that. That's a great bet.
I had a +300. I'm like, well, I looked. I'm like, I already had 3 outrights placed. I'm like, hold on a second. I bet JT +14 or 14-1. I'm like, it's still 14-1. I canceled out that bet. I replaced it, got it at 17 with that boost. I'm like, you can't. I actually, and you know me, I'm a small bettor, but I bet 2 units on JT at 17.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. You bet 2 units.
That's a slam dunk play, in my opinion, if you can get him anywhere over 16 or 17.
Oh, absolutely.
If what you're saying, he falls to 20 or 21 to 1, early in day 1, maybe even beginning of day 2, I might throw another unit or 2 on him.
I'm on JT watch.
Yeah, JT is my number 1 guy this week, 110%. I absolutely love it. But I want to get to Bryson for a second.
Okay, sure.
Because Bryson, to me, is a super, super sneaky play for everything you just said. First off, in DraftKings, he's going to be somewhere between 3 and 5% owned.
Yeah, no, he's about like 4% they projected right now. Yeah.
I've seen Fantasy National has him at 3. Fanshare has him at about 4%. So you're getting Bryson at 4%. Yes, everything you said. He tried to break the course last year. Now, I know he just came back and has only played a bare minimum amount since he's come back. But if you noticed last week, he actually teed off with his 3-wood a few times. He actually teed off with his 5-wood a few times. He also did that at the match play. Maybe like in this, while he was injured, he was in his workshop, his science lab, with his beakers and Bunsen burners, trying to figure out how to do it. And maybe because Bryson with his 3-wood can still he's still long enough.
For sure.
That doesn't affect him here. And again, like you said he's a really good putter. I think Bryson is probably the most underrated putter on tour. He's actually a really, really, really good putter. And I think I bet him because I wasn't going to play Bryson at all in DraftKings. I bet him because 45-1 I got him at. I was like, you know what? Bryson's the kind of guy he might finish in 25th, 30th place. Like his tournament history here, it's not good. I mean, he's got a 46th, 34th, 29th, and a 38th. That's not good. But I'm like, Bryson's the kind of guy, he's either going to finish in that 30th place like he always does, or he's going to win the event. So I'm like 45-1. It's worth 1 unit to take a shot at Bryson. But then I started to see his ownership percentages. And when you're playing these 30% guys like JT or Cam Smith or Corey Connors, you got to be a little different. If nobody's playing Bryson, I'm playing Bryson this week. And when I saw that 4% today, I got 20. Well, I got 30 lineups now. I've got him in 7 of my 30 lineups.
Yeah, that's a lot of coverage for him. I'll be
coverage to Bryson.
I'll be honest with you. It's a real big home run swing. It's a scary kind of thing. I actually kind of liked him last week as a flyer for the Valero. I thought this was a good course for him. He could bomb it everywhere. I'm like, this is like Bryson could really do damage at Valero. Like this course did not penalize you for hitting it all over the place. It was a good spot for him. Close wedge play. I was like, this is a spot for Bryson. I got 28-1 last week in a shittier field. And I was just like, you know what? This is a great spot for him. He looked like complete dog shit. The only thing for him was his last 3 events, his putter was pretty good. That's the only thing that's been positive. But if you look at his last 6 events played, a cut, 25th, a withdrawal, 58th. In 5 of those 6 events, he's been in negatives in strokes gained total. -5, -5, -3, -3, -2. Strokes gained tee to green, all negatives. Everything has been negative. The approach game, the off the tee game, which he is king of. He was -2.5 at Valero, where he should have been like plus 1,000 bombing that ball. That wrist is a big issue, and I think it's a big problem.
Now back from that, so you're bringing up the wrist, and he was -3.3 off the tee at Century. You know, he barely gained a. He was hit 0.3 at Farmers. Then he missed all that time. You know, he was back at the match play. It's a different ball game.
No, that is a little fluctuated the match play, so
yeah,
that
exactly.
is a little funky.
Before that wrist injury, he gained strokes off the tee. You would have to go all the way back to Genesis of last year to the last time he didn't have a positive off the tee. To me, it comes down to his around the green, because as great as he is off the tee, as great as he is putting, it's the around the green. It's the short. And I've said that since day one of following Bryson, because I've always been a big Bryson guy. What's up, Scotty? As I'm a huge Bryson guy. All he needs to do is figure out how to hit a wedge or hit a sand shot. That's what he needs to figure out. And once he does that, he might become unstoppable.
Well, the thing with his bunker play is the way he swings the club. He has to really hit it super hard to like hit it out, because he doesn't really like scoop that ball out like most of the good bunker players play, because he's so unorthodox when he brings back the ball and everything. I heard the announcers talking about it. Like the way he hits it, he has to hit it hard, and it like really like harder than usual, just because his swing is so funky. But it's just, I don't know. I'm just not sold on him. I thought there was good spots for him. They weren't good unless he's really sandbagging us and he was working on things and he really didn't care about doing anything in these tournaments to get ready for Augusta. But I don't buy it. I can't invest into him. I don't care if he's 1% owned, 2% owned.
Yeah, I'm looking at that range though. If you look at Bryson's at 91, you go up to Zalatoris. I could definitely see a case made for Will Zalatoris, obviously. You can go up to Hideki. If Hideki didn't have that injury question mark next to him, I would be all at that price. If he didn't have the injury, he would probably be one of those 20% owned guys this week.
Oh, easy, 100%.
Not about it. But you can't play Hideki. You can't bet Hideki. Maybe you can wait 2 or 3 days in and see how he's doing. You go down. You got Daniel Berger. That's a big question mark at Augusta. Louis Oosthuizen. I mean, he's got a better chance of winning the par 3 contest than the actual Masters, because he can't win events, major events. And you go down to Shane Lowry, which I mean that's pretty far down. But if you look at the 100 or 200 above and below him, man, you got to be. I hate using the word pivot and I hate using the word contrarian, because I think they're overused words in the fantasy sports world and the betting world. But if you got to be contrarian, Bryson's the guy. He's not
the only contrarian move.
He is not missing unless he gets hurt and has to withdraw. And nobody really, like, guys withdraw from events all the time. People don't withdraw from the Masters. They try their best to hang in there at the Masters. Bryson's not missing the cut. Bryson at 4%. Bryson at 4%. Hold on, because I think somebody tweeted a parlay on missed cuts.
Oh, a little bit.
Cut. And hold on. Let's see if I can find your tweet.
Oh, by all means, show it. I would love you guys. I would love you to show it. But
actually, I gotta find. I might as well just go to your page.
Yeah, just go to my page. It's there. Just waiting.
I share too many things to find it here.
No, I hear you. But the thing is, he just hasn't been that good. It's just so hard to play him. And then we were talking about. Oh, you're talking about Will Zalatoris in general. That's one of my future bets I made. So I got him at 40-1. I will Zalatoris, and then my first Masters play that I made was Patrick Cantlay at 20-1, but then he was 25-1, so I was able to cash that out and buy that out for 25-1. So Cantlay, Zalatoris, those are kind of the horses I'm riding here. I know Zalatoris, he had a great showing his last go around. I think he's really long off the tee. He's got a good approach game. We know the putter's kind of iffy, but I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. So this is your tweet from earlier.
Yes, correct.
Parlayed. I didn't know you could do. What app did you find this kind of?
I'm telling you right now, the best sports book in America. Unfortunately, I think it's only in New Jersey, but it's the best sports book in America is Bet365.
I tried to go do this on FanDuel and DraftKings. You cannot do this on those
sites. So Bet365 is great. So besides all the great golf bets you can make, like every week you can do top 20 after first round, which I've been cashing in a lot, and it's been a money-making machine. They give me free bets every week. I don't get paid by Bet365, but they literally give me NBA bets, like $20 NBA bets, like all the time. And I'm not betting a whole lot of money. I'm not a guy that's forking over a bunch of K money every week.
You're not BK?
No, I'm not BK. You know, I got a mortgage to pay. I got, you know, I got that family life, unfortunately.
You don't live with the parents?
Nah, hey man, he's living his best life, man. He's the hottest thing on Twitter. So
I'm not giving a hard time. He thinks I make fun of him, but no. I like to bust.
Hey, believe you me, he's living the good life, and hey, ride it through, my friend. He's living a much better life than I was when I was 24.
Absolutely. But this is a great thing to be able to parlay 3 guys to miss the cut. I just disagree. I think if I had to rank these 3 guys to miss the cut, I would put Kisner and Berger ahead of Bryson. I would put Bryson at that 240. And I'd put Berger at the plus 150 if I was doing it. I think Kisner at plus 125. That's right on the money there. I just can't get behind. I can make a case for the other 2, but I can't make the case for Bryson. And if I'm even remotely right on my feelings of Bryson, or if you're right on your feelings of Bryson, then I'm screwed because of my opinion on Bryson. So I mean, him 7 in my lineups, I'm kind of screwed here.
No, I hear you. So the 2 guys, I mean, I talk about Bryson all day, why I don't really like him to make the cut. Kevin Kisner, we know he's a short hitter. This course is going to play longer than it's ever played before. The tees have moved back. There's rain there, so the fairways are going to be a lot wetter, so they're not going to carry as far. So you're going to really – it's going to be about hitting that ball far. That's going to be important. Kevin Kisner isn't that guy for this kind of course. No. And Daniel Berger, we know he's not good off the tee, but he does have those long irons. But he is one of the worst guys on bent grass, super green, bent grass, lightning fast greens. I believe he ranks, I want to say like 47th in the field or like in the 50s. I'll get the exact number, but it's not good. It's a really bad number. He's been terrible in his last 50 rounds in that. So I'll be more than happy to fade that all day. And he has been off and on a lot with the putting because of, I still believe from this day with the books, the greens books that aren't there for him, I think that's really hurt him a lot. And where you're going to need to be able to, you know, putt really well at this course, I think that's going to be a big issue. So I really like him to miss the cut here. And of course it's a flyer. Hitting 3 guys to miss the cut in such a small field is kind of dangerous, but I'm feeling froggy. I want the rising fire.
That's why you're getting those kind of odds though. You know, $20 win almost 400. I mean, that's why you're getting that kind of return on your money.
Yeah, and it's honestly because Berger's so high not to miss the cut, and he's the big name. You know, he played at the Ryder Cup, and you know all these other things. But I don't have a good. I believe his last 2 events he played at Augusta, I think he missed the cut both times. So it's not a good spot for him. I don't think his game. It was good at the Honda. He ended up not closing out for the most part, but. It's just, I don't know. I don't really trust him here, but also I'm never really right with Berger often, which is unfortunate.
One thing that I didn't play Berger at all this week. I didn't bet Berger at all this week for the same reasons as you. But the one stat that people are shying away from this week that Berger's really good at is par 4, shots gained on par 4s.
Okay.
You know, everybody talks about the par 5s and scoring on the par 5s and how important it is. Because of how long the par 4s are on this course, scoring on par 4s is very, very important. Even just getting pars on par 4s is very important. And Daniel, in the last 50 rounds, you know, compared to the field, Daniel Berger ranks 2nd shots gained par 4. So that's the only thing that kind of gave me pause for a second. So I have a new way of doing my model. I do my model, but I also the stats that I feel like are important, but I don't want in my model, I put in my model at 0%, so that I get all the information on one screen and all. And I put that, and I put three putt avoidance as two things that people aren't talking enough of.
No, that's very important. Yeah, definitely.
Focused in on driving distance or off the tee or par 5 scoring or just putting in general. But the par 4 scoring and that bogey avoidance, that 3-putt avoidance are two very, very, very important stats this week.
So I have one thing. The 3-putt avoidance is very important. I totally agree with you there. So we're on bent grass. They're very fast greens. It's been talked about a bunch. Berger in his last 50 rounds in 3-putt avoidance is ranked 62nd in the entire field in 3-putt avoidance. He has not been good on these greens. I mean, 62nd in this field, that's outrageous. I mean, there's plenty of amateurs and old guys playing, and he's 62nd in 3-putt avoidance. I attacked him on matchup play. I got Leishman plus 138 against him.
Wow.
I had no problem taking that. I talked about that on golfxprt.com. You can read that up about my 3 matchups I really like this week. I'm attacking Berger. I'm attacking Kisner. I'm attacking Horschel. I'm coming for blood. I mean, I'm ready to rise on fire against these guys.
You love to use the term feeling froggy. You are feeling froggy on the matchup.
Absolutely, man. It's Masters, man. You got to push it a little bit. Absolutely. This is the Super Bowl of all golf. And the thing I love about the Masters is it's the pageantry. There's a lot of respect. The guys have the jacket. I just love that shit. I'll be honest with you.
I absolutely do too.
I think there's a magic in Augusta, and it's like my number one bucket list to go to. One day I will go to, whether I have to pay a fortune to go or not. I'm gonna go one day. I've been in the lottery every year. I haven't hit yet, but
if I hit the Millie Maker, I'm booking a trip with my favorite golf people to Augusta. So funny story. When we first
am I on that list?
We'll see. If Bryson makes the cut and doesn't screw me this week, maybe. Well, he's gonna have to. I think I put him. I only have one Millie Maker lineup so far, and I think I put Bryson in it.
Oh, all right. Well,
I can't even do it. I logged out of DraftKings for some reason. Oh, geez. I'm pretty sure I put him in my Millie Maker lineup. So I didn't change him on my list. So maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, you do what you want. Hopefully I'm wrong for you and you hit it.
If I hit that Millie Maker. So funny story, when we first opened a pizza shop, me and my father-in-law, we were looking at like these like golf packages to Augusta. And so you get a condo, multi-bedroom condo, you get a private chef and housekeeper for the condo. You get tickets for the entire event, the practice rounds, all 4 events.
Oh, geez, that could be so expensive.
It was like it's for like 6 or 8 people or something like that. It was like $18,000. Like honestly,
I mean, honestly, that's honestly not for how much it costs to go. I saw tickets going for like $2,000 and stuff. I mean,
we're talking 14 years. This was like 12, 14 years ago.
Oh well,
okay.
Yeah,
so these prices might have gone up, and like so you got all the food in your condo from the chef. You got like a stocked mini bar, like a big mini bar for like 6 people in your condo and stuff like that. Then you guys spend money on the course and stuff like that.
Oh, whatever.
Airfare and stuff like that. But come on now. I mean, even if it's up to like $25,000, if I hit the Millie Maker, we're doing a live Fairway to Heaven from Augusta.
Well, I hope you think about me. I would love to be part of that party.
Bring you down. We'll bring a whole crew of people down there, and we'll have a blast at Augusta.
I'll do Fairway to Heaven every day for you if you send me out there. I'll be doing the show every day. I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's keep going looking at this board here. So I'm just going to bring up other teams, because we're not on any formal like you got to talk about certain names here or not.
Right.
We talked about Bryson, we talked about JT, we talked about Cam Smith a little bit. What about the other top guys at the board? Because let's be honest, the cream rises to the top at Augusta. When you're talking betting wise, you're not finding somebody that's 120 to 1 to win the Masters. You might throw a penny or two. Me, I only bet now on DraftKings for the most part because my FanDuel account's empty. Sorry, I can't help that. There's no money
there.
Unless Cam Smith wins and refreshes it with my future bet. DraftKings or FanDuel's empty. So you can't actually you can't like bet a 150 to 1 guy on DraftKings and him be in contention and cash it out for double your money. What guys at the top of the board are you looking at?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're looking at the top of the board, It's really interesting though, because if you're talking from a betting perspective, I mean, Colin Morikawa, he's been doubted multiple times, and he ends up winning these majors. Like they're like, oh, he can't play on links course, and then he wins the British Open, or the Open they call it. But I like calling it the British Open. But I mean, he's a gamer, and I mean, if you look at what he's done, he hasn't been up to his standards of Colin Morikawa when it comes to his approach game. But you know what? I mean, he's good in these events. I mean, okay, so Riviera, he played really well there, so that really helps him. That's a good course comp. Murfield, I believe he played pretty decent at as well. But you look at the match play, what he did, he's been great off approach. His last two events, he's been in the positives, the off the tee approach. The putter hasn't really been there, but that's always been a thing with Morikawa. You can kind of find out, like, is he going to start putting it well? If he's starting to putt it well, and I see him rolling these putts, like, I might jump on him for a live bet. There's like a lot of things that can happen.
I have Rory. Like Rory and Colin are both 20-1 right now. I got Rory at 20-1. I think that's more just sentimental. Wanting to see Rory, get that complete that Grand Slam. But I could have gone either way with him and Colin. And let me tell you, I got them both in my player pool. I've got multiple clicks on Colin in my player pool, multiple clicks on Rory McIlroy. And honestly, at the top end, you look at it, Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, and Dustin Johnson, they're your highest owned guys. Then you go down to Colin Morikawa, Rory. You could even throw Victor in there. They're the guys. When do you get guys in the 10K range in that 10 to 15% ownership range? Very rarely.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't. I mean, like from what I'm looking at right now, Colin Morikawa is like the lowest owned guy, which I think is pretty outrageous because I mean, Victor Hovland has a lot of problems with the around the green game. But hey, if you hit GIRs, it doesn't matter what your around the green game is. Like he ball strikes like crazy, and if he can hit those GIRs, there's no around the green game that matters because he's already hitting the green and it's done. So if he figures that out, he could be extra sneaky as well.
Yeah, I stayed completely far away from Victor Hovland this week, 130%. But I love the other guys there.
Yeah,
I want to get your opinions real quick on the Tiger thing. I mean,
okay,
you're a golf fan. You've been following golf and I don't know how long you've been betting on golf, but you've probably been playing and following golf for a long time.
Yeah, I have.
I just talked about Rory, and I probably bet him not because of any numbers, but because of the sentimental factor of it.
Okay.
On the flip side of the equation, I have not bet Tiger once. I have not played him in one lineup for the sentimental purposes that I want to be able to sit back, watch Tiger play on Thursday, and not have to worry about one penny being on the line with Tiger Woods. And I kind of think I'm crazy because there's some really juicy odds. Well, at least there was earlier in the week on him to make the cut or miss the cut. Some juicy odds of him just to tee off. And I think there's one book was bet you could bet like plus 100 earlier in the week that he'd play 3 holes and that was it. And they're great odds, but it's Tiger, and I want to enjoy Tiger's comeback story. I don't want to have to be stressing over Tiger's comeback story. And I think I'm a little crazy on that.
You're not crazy on that, honestly. It's going to be a roller coaster ride with Tiger, and there's no reason to stress over a guy that's pretty much been the bionic man with his back and his legs. And I mean, it was funny. My father-in-law texted me. He's like, oh, Tiger to win. We'll each put this money. I'm like, no, stop it. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, honestly, originally I was going to bet him to miss the cut. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be a downer. Like, I'm going to let him be. Like, if I were to bet something on him because the field is so soft at the top, like, I would bet him to make the cut. And that's like about it. But I'm not betting him in. Like, they won't even throw him in matchups. Like, the books are scared. I haven't
played matchup bets yet. I was going to wait for you to give me some matchup bets. I was going to lock them in live on the air here,
they really didn't even have any matchup bets for Tiger, and I think that's the thing, and that's the thing as well. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. I think you want to compare Tiger to when you're watching March Madness and you have that Cinderella team and you like them to win the first, second round game. That's kind of how I feel with Tiger. Like, yeah, I get it. Tiger's great. He's fun to watch. I don't want him to win. I don't. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, I don't. I have too much investments in other bets and everything like that. I honestly like a lot more golfers than him. I mean, sorry, I just do. I think the PGA has a lot of likable golfers on tour, and I think that's more of a thing of not being a team sport. I think you don't really root against people because they're not part of a team. You know, like we love Philadelphia and we have our Philadelphia team. We hate the New York teams, the Boston teams, stuff like that. Like we hate those players. PGA doesn't have that. It's just them and them only. And like, there's only a few guys you really don't like, and that's really about it. But Tiger is just, I don't know. Like, it'd be great to see him play really well early, maybe make the cut, and then have him go off in the sunset. Like, that's the perfect scenario for me as a viewer and a bettor, especially if he wins the Masters. Like, I'm fucked. Like, I'll tell you right now. Like, yeah. It would be the worst. Honestly, it would be the worst thing for me if Tiger won the Masters. I don't think he's going to. I don't think he has a shot in hell because the field's too good. The field's way too good.
Well, I mean, like, I know what the pain he's going to get. So I tried to explain it last night to Ricky on the show last night that I broke my leg similar. I almost had it amputated too.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I've gone through. I didn't have the $1 billion doctors and the bionic leg. I was on my dad's insurance and in college. Basic bare minimum insurance.
Yeah, I got a regular person.
I was allocated 4 physical therapy trips, and that was it. After literally almost having my leg amputated, that's all the insurance could cover. So I didn't have the Tiger, doctors and all. But the one thing I know, and this was, I broke my leg in January of 2001. We were in 2022, 21 years ago, and I still have problems with it now.
21 years ago.
And I still have problems. So I still get the medal. I still got the bruise. I still got it's a long time. I'm old, Chris. I'm old.
No, but you know what the funny thing is though? Like 2001, like I mean, like I just remember that. And I'm like, fuck, I'm really old too. I mean, like,
I spent the last semester of my senior year of college on crutches.
Uh-huh.
And we're not just talking like lightly on crutches. Like I did not put a single ounce of pressure on my leg until graduation. It was my goal to not have crutches on graduation day. And I had them. And then when I went up to get my diploma, I dropped the crutches just for that. And I almost fell. And then they gave me my crutches back, and I had to use them for the rest of the day.
Oh, man. You tried, though. You tried.
I tried.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, so playing golf, and I had only just started playing golf at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And, after that, and still to this day, when you swing a golf club, the torque you put in your leg, it's he's going to limp walking the golf course. Yeah, Augusta's not a place you want to struggle.
No, it's very hilly. It's a tough place to walk.
But the walking pain, even just walking for me nowadays, like just anything walking wise, not just on a golf course, you can block that kind of pain out. The pain that he's going to feel on the torque that he puts on his leg, I cannot properly swing a golf club because I can't put the torque on my leg.
Oh,
it's all upper body for me. And what's his problem with his upper body? His back.
Yes.
So he might not realize it, but he's going to put more pressure on his back. He's going to put more torque on his back than he normally does. And he's going to think in practice rounds or at the range, it's one thing. But when you're on the course and it's the 14th hole on Saturday at Augusta, there's a different kind of pressure you're putting on your body. The torque that he puts on his leg, that's the pain I'm concerned with. So I've put a cap. I don't think he can finish above top 20. I just don't think he can.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't think he can either. I mean, okay, so he knows the course and he's been through all the pressure situations. I totally get that. I don't think the pressure is going to get to him. I think you said it correctly. I think his body is just going to tell him, no, you can't do it. And, he looks good. He's like physically fit. He looks very jacked. I mean, like he's just
it's all upper body. Like
it's all upper body. I mean, but he talked about that in an interview before. He's like, yeah, all I did was work on my upper body because he's just like, I need to do something because like I'm going to go insane just sitting around the house all day eating bonbons.
The first 3 months where I basically took, I was doing not homeschooling, but like internet schooling. My first month or two from the dorm room. That we're talking 2001. Homeschooling was a lot different back in.
Yeah, that's I've done homeschooling now. It's horrible, but still, go on.
It's actually hard. You know how poorly I did my last semester of college because I basically I wouldn't stay at my mom's house. I stayed in the dorm room still anyway on my crutches, and I basically had to use an old dial-up modem to do all my homework and schooling. So
right,
but you do go insane. But Tiger, man, I just can't get behind anything with it because there's a ceiling there. He might make the cut. He might miss the cut. I think his max is 21st place. but there's a really good possibility he's somewhere in that 40th to 60th place. Maybe just barely missing the cut, just making the cut on the number. And that's at best. So why waste any money? Just enjoy the fact that he's back.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. You enjoy just watching him. Like, it's the Cinderella story. You know, I talked about before. It's like Belmont. You know, it's like those teams like VCU. You're just like, hey, it's fun. Like, he's playing well. Like, it's so much fun. You're going to hear about on Twitter. Everything's great. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't really want him to do really, like, I don't want him to really win, you know, because, like, that's going to fuck up my card, you know?
I want Cam Smith. That's all I want is Cam Smith. I want my futures bet.
And I'm all for that. And I like that as well. I mean, I personally don't have a bet on Cam Smith, but if Cam Smith won, I'd rather have Cam Smith than Tiger Woods win because
I got the futures bet on Cam Smith.
Okay.
I've got a first round leader bet on Cam Smith. I got a top 10 just to back everything up with Cam Smith and 13 of my 30 lineups with Cam Smith. So I am all in on Cam Smith this week. And that's because I've kind of mentally, I know I should be off of him a little bit more and more on JT, but because of my futures bet, it's clouding my judgment, and I'm all in on Cam Smith. So, yeah. So on Tiger, real quick, I do want to ask you one question. I don't know if I heard Sia talking about it or Rick talking about it on their pod today or yesterday. It's because I originally I bet two for I got away from first round leader bets this year because they just break my heart every time I do them. But for the Masters, I went back. I bet Cam Smith first round leader.
Okay.
But I also bet one other first round leader, and I bet it before I saw the pairings, and now I'm hearing people talk about playing with Tiger Woods.
I'm
not worried about Louis Oosthuizen, but I got Joakim Niemann playing with Tiger. I got him as a first round leader. I got him on my player pool for bets or for my DraftKings lineup. Not a massive investment in him, but a decent investment in him. But betting wise, do you think, especially in the first round, second round, for matchup purposes, do you get scared of somebody like Niemann who hasn't played in that situation with a Tiger Woods type crowd? Do you not buy into that? I forget it was either Rick or Sia that said that they were a little concerned about that today.
No, I'm not concerned about it at all. He's already won an event. He's a good player. I mean, he's an international player. I mean, he's been the ups and downs. I mean, his long iron game is fantastic. The putter actually got pretty hot later on, which is huge for him because he's not that typically of a good putter. I'll tell you what, when I was watching him on PGA Tour Live, I want to say about like a month ago, he hit this shot. I swear. I think it was like 200 yards from the rough. He stuck it within like 5 feet of the pin. And like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, the dude is special. Like, Joaquin Niemann is fantastic. I mean, he's very funky because he really torques his body a lot when he gets that swing and everything. But hey, everyone has their own swings. Look at John Rahm. He talks about his club foot. Like, he's like, I have to adjust because my foot's like a club foot, and like, he's amazing ball striker. You have to, and I think that's an important lesson at the end of the day, not just for like the PGA players and like golfers like you and me that just want to play and like get better. And we're the average Joes. We kind of suck, but we want to play and have fun. You have to find out what works for your body. And the way that dude works his body, he's like a pencil, man. He gets a lot of force out of that ball. And I mean, they talk about high ball flight being very important at Augusta, but he can be a dangerous player here. And you know what? I don't feel like he's going to get, I don't feel
Augusta either.
And I honestly don't feel like the show of Tiger, it's going to really bother him. He's not your normal young dude. It's not like a Cameron Young that's going to be paired with him. Like that might scare the shit out of him. But I think Joaquin Niemann's played around for a long time, and he remember at the Century Tournament of Champions when he was going to play Harris English in the final, and he was like at the picnic table. He wasn't even practicing. He was there with Sergio's wife and his girlfriend or wife, and they're just yucking it up. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And then Harris English ended up being them.
That's the European relaxed attitude right there.
But it didn't work out. But I think he learned from that, and he's gone better because of that, I feel like. And I don't think he's going to be shy from it. I think he's a baller. And honestly, I don't think you have anything to worry about. If you already liked him first round leader, this Tiger thing, I don't think it's going to
I like the first round leader. Now I'm kind of like, maybe I like the first round leader bets. It's a crapshoot first round leader bet. But it didn't make me shy away from putting him in my.
Oh, wait, hold on 1 second, real quick.
Yeah.
I was just looking at my board because I made some first round. I'm known to do first round leader bets, and I've done pretty well with them. I'm looking at my board right now. What I did here, Mark Leishman, he's my favorite of the week. I love him at 55-1. He's a great around a green guy. He actually has really good first round stats for Murfield, Riviera, and Kapalua, which are like awesome comp courses. And even at Augusta, I think he falls inside the top 10 with that as well for first round leaders. So I really like him. Tony Finau, 50-1.
That was gonna be my next question. I was gonna bring up Tony Finau.
Go. So what do you want to talk about Tony Finau?
Keep going your first round leaders.
Okay, so Tony Finau. He played really well towards last week at the Valero, which is like a Bombers kind of course. It should be a Bombers course, but it really ended up not being that way. He's getting into a groove here, and he's been really good at Augusta for a long time. If he honestly hasn't sucked for this amount of time, he would have been the chalkiest of chalk coming into any DFS, anything else. I actually got him at 5-1 for top 20. That was kind of my long shot for my top 20. I really like him 5-1. I think he's going to play really well this week. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to play well. He could start off hot, so I like him there as well. Justin Rose at 60-1. I was talking to my guy Coach that on Twitter, he's the Arizona State guy. I'm a Wildcat, so there's the kind of a bad blood there, so I won't hold it against him being a Sun Devil and all. But Justin Rose, he has a lot of good experience in first round, especially around here in Augusta, so I took a flyer on him as well. And then finally, I looked at my board. I did bet Cam Smith 22-1 leader after first round. He is a round green master, and on top of that, he's very good first round. So I love the fact that you brought him up, and because I had to look at my board, I'm like Cam Smith. I'm like, I did play him somewhere, and it was leader after first round. All of them I bet 0.1 units. That's usually what I bet because the grind of the golf season and every week you're betting, I can't bet a unit all the time. I bet my units when it comes to matchup plays. If you look at my card on Chris Ebom on Twitter, a lot of my matchup plays have 1 units because those are my strongest plays because I feel like my best edge is in matchup personally. I mean, everyone has their own way of betting. For me, matchup play has been super successful. So that's what I usually, attack with the big units. But I love those guys right there. And then on Bet365, I bet Mark Leishman top 20 after first round. I think I got him at plus 250. So I kind of hammered that really hard. So
we have to look at Bet3 because you said it might only be available in.
I think it's only in Jersey, but I'm telling you right now, Phil, this is the best sports book. I've been on a lot of sports books in my days, and like illegal bookies and things like that before like the sports books were going on. This gets kind of a feel of like an illegal book because it's so makeshift, like the interface and everything. But I'll tell you what, every week they give me $10, $20 bets for NBA, college basketball. And it's not like I'm even betting a whole lot. And honestly, it's just the bets they have for Bet365 are outrageous. And on top of that, they're the first ones to get the lines out. They're way before DraftKings. They're way before FanDuel. I mean, it's a joke. And I'm glad I'm in the state of New Jersey just for that reason.
All right. So you mentioned Tony Finau.
Yes.
I brought up last night, and Ricky told me I was completely nuts.
Okay.
I was looking at a couple names. I was looking at former champions, and I was looking at guys that are in bad form but play great at Augusta.
Okay.
Tony Finau was one of the names, not as a former champion, but a guy that plays great. And I love him in DraftKings. It is. Hold on, what was his ownership percentage right now? Yeah, under 15% ownership projection, 11% right now. You give that a plus 3 or 4% kind of variance. Maybe it goes up. I love Tony Finau. I don't know what his odds are. His top. Let me go back to my sports book here on DraftKings here. What is he for top 10? I think Tony Finau could finish in the top 10. He's plus 450 for top 10.
I honestly wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I love Tony Finau this week, and people. I got him in 8 of my 30 lineups. That's a lot of exposure to a guy that's not in tip-top form.
But you know what? I got some good news for you though. So the Dell matchup play, which is kind of wonky and everything like that, he finished. I mean, technically it was 35th, but if you actually look at his numbers, this kind of falls into the Siwoo Kim range that I really love.
I love this week.
He was absolutely fantastic off the tee, approach, putting, everything was good. The only thing that wasn't that great was around the green. But you know what? I feel like he can kind of get that magic back at Augusta because he's typically really good around the green. I mean, he's been in a really bad streak. His last 7 rounds, he's been in the negatives. I think he can. I think Augusta is actually a comfortable place for Tony Finau, and I think there's a lot of pressure that's kind of off him, which sounds kind of crazy. I mean, he did have the win at the Northern Trust, which was like a huge win. I don't think there's really much expectations for him, and I think it's kind of dangerous for Tony Finau. And the fact that he's been playing really good these last 2 events, the Valero, he was 2 strokes gain off the tee, almost 4 approach, 2 putting. I mean, he's looking into form, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. And I have him in lineups too. He's going to be in a good amount of my lineups too. I don't have a whole lot of lineups because I'm playing some really big money lineups, but this is I like Tony Finau a lot, and I'm hoping. Let me see what his projection is right now, because like he's usually like he would be normally like a 20% kind of guy. I'm looking at him being a 9%. So he might finish like 12, 13%.
Yeah.
I think
I got him at 11 right now listed here.
Honestly, I think you got to play him, and I think he's going to be a monster leverage. I'm definitely leveraging him in my bigger events.
I think it's a smart play.
I think he's sneaky good. I think Siwoo. Well, I don't know what you were saying about Siwoo Kim before, but
he's kind of another one of my sneaky plays this week.
Yeah, he's the one guy I took that I really liked as a long shot. I got him at 100 to 1. Okay. I ended up getting him 100 to 1. But the thing was, I've been running Siwoo Kim train for like the last couple weeks. I liked him at Dell matchup play. He was really solid there. His stats, he just ran a Hatton, who just went 3-0. He should have probably made it through for the most part, but he didn't. And then the Valero, he was solid, and I loved him last week. I put him in my parlay that I hit. That was real big. That was 16 to 1. He ended up finishing T13 there. Positives across the board. And might I remind you, last year he broke his putter and had to putt the 3-wood, and he still played really well. Yep. I'm telling you, he's extremely dangerous. I put my bet in for 100 to 1. I don't know if it's going to really win, but I would not be shocked if he wins. He's a player's champion. I mean, there's spots he could be really good at. I mean, I really like him. I threw him on my other parlay I just did. That's like crazy. I mean, but
I've got one parlay so far, and then when I give you my parlay, then you're going to give me I'm on DraftKings. I got my DraftKings.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
You're going to give me a 3 or 4 leg round 1 matchup parlay.
Oh, fantastic. I love it.
I want to give you, so FanDuel let you do the top places parlays.
I'm going to do this off my head. No stats. I'm just going to give you my true feel.
So I've got one parlay on FanDuel. So I got 5 legs on it. Okay. I got a top 20 on Shane Lowry.
For first round or what?
No, this is overall. This is just a general finishing position parlay first. You're going to give me a first round parlay.
Okay,
but
beautiful.
I did a finishing position parlay on FanDuel. I got Shane Lowry, top 20. Corey Connors, top 30.
Okay.
Neiman, top 30. And
what
Kim
was Neiman
and
for top 30, by the way? What was his odds?
I can't log into FanDuel on this laptop.
Okay. All right. So you have Neiman top 30. What else you got?
Yeah. So I got Neiman, Connors 30, Lowry 20, and I got Kim and Henley top 40. Okay.
Man, they gotta be laying juice on all those. Pretty decent.
Yeah. So it was $3 to win 50.
That's still really good odds. I mean, I like those
plus 1492 for that parlay.
Yeah, I mean those guys I think should all play pretty well. For the most part, I really don't have any qualms about it. I mean, top 20 is going to be kind of hard to hit this week. So you kind of took your shot with Lowry, which, you know, honestly, his recent form has been absolutely fantastic. He's been in all the positives and strokes gain categories. He's been really good. I mean, he's in probably his best form he's been in like a real long time. Even when he won the Open, he wasn't in like the greatest form. I mean, like not like he is right now. I mean, he's just been completely locked in. I mean, the only downfall
talking about like fading Lowry because his ownership percentage and playing Gooch, who's a first timer. And I like Gooch this week. I really do. But there's about a 10% ownership gap between Lowry and Gooch. But you got to have exposure, whether it's betting or on your DraftKings board or your player pool board for fantasy with Shane Lowry, because Shane Lowry is not a Masters. He's a major champion, and he always plays well in these big events.
Yeah.
you got to have somewhere in your financial investment this weekend. You have to have exposure to Shane Lowry, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, I have to look back at my lineups. I did my lineups. I'm gonna double check that where I have them at because I do really like Shane Lowry this week. But I'm really intrigued about these first round matchup parlay you're gonna do because I'll tell you what. We make this parlay. I'm gonna bet it too, and I'll post it on Twitter so everyone knows that I have it.
Do you have your DraftKings board up anywhere or no?
No, not on top right now. No, I don't.
I mean, I don't know. Give me some names that you really love, and because every sports book got different matchups. So I got all of round one.
I'm telling you, I'm going to put on my phone right now, real quick, and so you can So on DraftKings, you can parlay first round matchups.
I thought you can. Yes, you can. First
round
matchups.
I don't want to go on there, and then I can't do it because some of these books stink with that. Yeah. So all right, so let me see. I just
took the first two ones on here, and it lets me parlay them. So yes, you can.
Okay, so first round matchups we're looking at, right? Okay, let me just double check.
First round matchups.
All right, I'm going to put two here and see if I can parlay them. Yeah. Let me see real quick.
Maybe Jersey's different than Philly or PA. So,
1 second. Let me see.
First one listed on my board is Spawn versus.
No, I can parlay them. Okay, cool. All right, so sounds good. So what do you got for me?
Oh, I'm just looking at them completely random right now. I'm not. I have nothing. I've never parlayed first round matchups before.
Okay, well, I mean, I thought you were going to give me a couple matchups, but let me see what I can do here.
I mean, if I glance at it really quickly, obviously Shane Lowry.
Okay, I'll take Shane Lowry over Daniel Berger. I'm fine with that. Not a problem.
Over Fleetwood in round one. I don't know. Bryson versus Tiger. I don't want to parlay that.
No, I'm not touching that. They both stink at this point.
Boost versus Neiman.
I'll tell you what. Here, I got an idea. So we'll go with Lowry. He's plus 100. I'll tell you, we're gonna go Tony Finau against Adam Scott plus 100. Okay.
All right, I like that.
We're gonna take him
100%.
So because we want to get a big juicy payout. So I'm looking at that right now.
We need 3, 4, 5 legs here to make this fun.
Yeah. So I'm looking now. Let me look real quick. So I found out something today. Okay. So Lee Westwood, he was at the par 3 contest. Do you know who his caddy was today?
Was it his wife?
Oh, it was his gorgeous wife. All right. So
I mean, she's
going to be
on the bag the whole week.
She has to be. She was wearing the outfit and everything. How could you not have her be I'm putting Lee Westwood over Patrick Reed plus 110. So I'm throwing that in as well. Because I'm not buying into this green jacket, yellow tie of Patrick Reed. I'm not having any parts of that. Lee Westwood, he's going to get that revive. He's past the honeymoon stage. He was balling when he had that honeymoon stage. He got married.
We talked about this many of times, me and you. He loved when his wife was on the bag.
Oh, I love when his wife's on the bag. It not only looks great, but he feels great. And I'm all about that. So Lee Westwood, we're going to throw in there. And what do you want to throw? One more in there?
At least one more. 1 or 2. I mean,
let's do 2. Let's do 2. Come on, let's do 2.
You got Leishman. You're high on Leishman. He's up against Garcia. You go down this.
Garcia's kind of dangerous in the first round, so I'm going to stay away from him in the first round.
You just had mentioned you were high on him.
I'll tell you what. Give me Thomas Peters against Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson, a shorter hitter, hasn't really played that well. I feel pretty good about Thomas Peters this week. Great in the bunker play. Hits the ball very far. He's 14th in the field in driving distance. I'm going to throw him in there for minus 105.
Only minus 105. That kind of tells me a little bit of something about Webb Simpson there.
That's all right. I'm fine.
Just on the name value alone, you would think that Peters would have been maybe plus 100 there or something.
Oh, okay. No, I could definitely understand that. And then finally, I'm looking at, I'll tell you what, give me Brooks Koepka against Rory McIlroy first round. I think he's going to come out pretty hot early. But you know what? Actually, I'm kind of, you know what? Let me wait a little bit. Oh, you know what? I stand corrected. I'm looking now at it. I'm looking at Sam Burns minus 125 against Abraham Answer. Give me Sam Burns. I think he comes out hot early.
I like that one much better. Yeah, I do.
So we got 5 legs here. We got Shane Lowry against Daniel Berger plus 100. Tony Finau over Adam Scott plus 100. Lee Westwood plus 110 over Patrick Reed. Peters minus 105 over Webb Simpson. And Sam Burns minus 125 over Abraham Answer. That's going to pay plus 28.52. So I'm gonna play it,
dude. I just locked it in right now.
I gotta log in, but I'm definitely playing it. I'm saving a picture.
Dude, I just bet it. It's done. It's locked in.
Well,
I actually almost bet. I put my bet in under single stakes. I almost bet all of them single. But I caught that before. It's a good thing they let you click confirm before it's actually official.
Yeah, it's probably a smart idea. I think that's a gambling responsibility thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it that I used to pick lineups live on the air. I'm going to start picking matchup parlays on the air now because I love it. Now I'm already going to have 3 screens set to the Masters.
Yeah, well, we're betting. It's Augusta. We're going to have some fun. And then I'm going to post this on Twitter as well because I'm going to play. I bet it right now. Bet it this second. We're good. We're set.
We're good. We're locked in. I love it. I don't think I've ever made a bet live on the air before. So,
well, you got to live. This is the living time.
As you say, it's feeling froggy. It's rising froggy,
and we got to rise and fire, right?
I got a new hashtag, and it's for other purposes, but I think it fits into betting and gambling a lot too. Okay. It's aim higher. It's hashtag aim higher. That's my new saying.
Hashtag what?
Aim higher.
Aim higher. Okay.
And I think it's for other purposes, but I think it fits into betting too.
I really absolutely. Do. You want to be your best, and aiming higher is the way to go. I dig it.
I dig it. So it used to be set the trends. Now it's aim higher. So
yeah.
Anyway, any final thoughts about this Masters before we wrap this show up?
Well,
other than Cam Smith.
The number one thing is that there's no Strokes stats for Augusta, which I feel like kind of sucks because like a guy that likes to bet 3rd, 4th round matchups, you like betting the showdowns and everything. I think that stuff is very important to have. I don't like the fact that Augusta actually holds these stats. I think it kind of sucks, and I think it kind of dilutes the betting market. I think it's going to change eventually because they're going to realize how big golf betting is, and I think Augusta will eventually, they'll say, all right, fine, whatever. They'll get some sort of cut from wherever the sports books are and stuff because they just want their money like anybody else. Absolutely. But it's going to be a great event. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about it. It's the biggest event in PGA, and you know what? Play the guys that you want to play at the end of the day. I feel like that's the number one advice I can give to anybody. You feel like someone's going to play well, forget the percentages, just play them. Because if they're going to play well and you think they're going to play well, at least you put your money in right. And I think that's the number one thing. Don't overthink it. Just play what you feel like is right.
I think that's great advice.
And I'm not usually like that because I feel like there's percentages with certain things and stuff like that. But this specific event, the Masters,
it's a totally different ballgame. When we get to the PGA or when we get to the US Open, the other major events, we're gonna be talking differently. But the Masters is totally different. It's the most unique tournament there is, and it's the most prestigious. So you got to roll with it. So, dude, this has been an awesome second show. I might have to start doing 2 shows a week all the time. I actually, in the back of my head, have thoughts on a 3rd show this week. I might do a showdown show Friday, Saturday night, something like that.
Hey, man, do your thing, man. Bust out that content, man. That's what it's about.
It's all about content. And I know we've talked about it off the air. I've had a lot of success with showdown lineups. And I feel really confident about my player pool this week on DraftKings. We'll see how the week's going, work-wise, time-wise. But I'm going to try to squeeze a short showdown and maybe even a little live betting, episode in sometime this weekend. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I'll be around, I think, for the most part. Hit me up. Maybe I'm going to go make an appearance. You never know, But overall, I think live betting is going to be big here because I don't feel like I don't really feel like you're going to get someone that's going to really run away. And if someone gets a couple bogeys that you really like, I think it's going to be a good spot to bet live, especially if you like a Morikawa or JT or some of the big guys up top. I think if you really like a guy and you want to wait like him, like I am with JT, like I already have my ammo waiting for him in one of my books. I have it waiting for him personally. It's the JT book for me. It's just sitting there waiting for me. When he falls a little bit and I get that number, that's going right to him. I'm with a bunch of sports books because you got to be with a bunch of books to understand that you need to shop around for all these numbers and everything. Depends on the states, everything like that. But I got my JT book and it's waiting. And when that happens, I'm attacking.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there for the night. Hold on. I'm not a golf guy, but Phil speaks high. Yeah. Oh, see, that's so sweet of you.
Yeah. There you go. Very nice.
We got a new follower there. Everybody have a great night. I'll be back live tomorrow morning with Trending in the AM. This is the first time ever 2 shows for one event in 1 week. and it's been fantastic. I appreciate everybody following, everybody coming along this journey as we continue to tear up the golf, the betting, and fantasy content here at Fairway to Heaven. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for sharing. If I don't get to a showdown lineup show this weekend, I'll be back next week, obviously, for next week's event. But Chris, thank you very much for joining me. Make sure you guys are following Chris at Chris Ebaum, riseandfirebets.com for his great work. And I forget is it
XPRT, golfxprt.com
for his other great work. And you can hear him on The Gambler sometimes as well.
Absolutely. Usually on there on Wednesday nights.
Cut off last time, because you had to appear. You got cut from the radio this week, right?
Yeah, well, some guys got to take vacations, and they take vacations during the biggest week of the PGA. So some people just don't get it at this point, but it's here nor there.
Yeah, it would be like an Eagles podcast taking off for the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
People will get it eventually. It's the PGA is on the humongous rise, and eventually it's going to take over everything when it comes to sports betting. I mean, maybe not football, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be right there near because the odds are juicy and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody have a great night. Again, thank you very much. Tomorrow morning, lineup's locking about 7:40 a.m. Let's enjoy it. To steal Chris's term, let's rise and fire tomorrow. Let's have a lot of fun with the absolute best golf tournament of the year. Everybody have a great night. And, aim higher and rise and fire, people. And